All right, so yesterday we talked about your monthly payments, right? Is your monthly payment just the cost of the house? Well, obviously you pay interest every month, yes. But what else do you pay every month? Taxes and what? You escrow your taxes and your insurance. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, so your insurance and your taxes get escrowed, right? So that adds into your monthly payment. So today we're going to talk about how banks determine whether or not to give you money. Okay, one of the ways they determine whether or not to give you money. All right, so the first thing that they look at is your front-end ratio. Front-end ratio. It's a factor that banks use when deciding whether to lend money for a mortgage. It includes your monthly mortgage payment, your property tax, and your insurance. So the three things we talked about yesterday go into this. Ratio just means like a fraction, right? So they look at your monthly housing expenses, which is your mortgage payment, your property tax, and your insurance, those three things we talked about, divided by your monthly gross income. So they divide those together. They take everything we calculated yesterday, divide by how much you gross per month. What's it mean to gross per month? It's what you make before taxes, right? It's not actually what you bring home, it's how much you make. Okay, so they take those two numbers and divide those and look at the ratio of that. And they want your front-end ratio to be 28% or less before they lend you money. Now, what if you were at like 28.1%? Would that be an automatic, nope, not lending you money? No, this is just one of the things they look at. They look at front-end ratio, they look at back-end ratio, which we'll talk about today. They also look at your credit score, they look at how much money you have in your savings accounts, they look at a lot of factors, but this is one of the things that they calculate to kind of see where you're at. I mean, obviously if they calculate this and you're at like 50%, they're not going to let you borrow or buy a house that's 50% of the amount of money that you make every month, right? You have other things that you use your money on. All right, so I went ahead and printed out your Chapter 8 reference papers, your formula sheets. There's a lot of stuff we haven't talked about on here yet, but other stuff we have. So this will be yours to use on your chapter test. You all right? All right, so on your formula sheet, on the very first thing you're going to notice you have your mortgage payment. Those of you who are scientific calculator people, make sure you add the extra parentheses at the top and the bottom on that formula if you're a scientific calculator person. It's the same formula from your green sheet, just make sure you add those extra parentheses so you don't forget. Simple interest formulas on here, that will show up again later. How do you know whether or not to use the simple interest formula? It will literally say simple interest in the problem, right? Okay, so don't use that unless it actually says simple interest. Down here towards the bottom, you'll see it says front-end ratio. This is the part we just talked about, okay? And then we're going to talk about back-end ratio. And there's other stuff on here that we'll talk about as this chapter progresses. Okay. So using the front-end ratio, determine if the bank will lend you money. Okay, so I've given you the annual gross income for somebody, their monthly mortgage payment, so I've given you that, you don't have to use your formula to find it, the semi-annual property tax, and the annual homeowner's insurance. So we need to calculate some different parts and pieces for this. So what is it always referring to? Is it talking about your yearly payment, your monthly, your weekly? Like what are we always talking about? Monthly, it's always monthly. So if I know the annual gross income, how do I find the monthly gross income? Divide by 12. So that would be the first thing I'm going to do, is divide that by 12. So then their monthly gross income is $5,298.33. Okay, if you look at the formula, it's all of your housing expenses divided by the monthly. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up down here at the bottom. So 5298.33. That's my monthly income. All right, I have the monthly mortgage payment. Do I need to do anything with that number? Nope, it's already monthly. Semi-annual property tax. How do I find monthly? Divide by 6, because that's semi-annual. All right, so 254 would be 47, that would round up. Annual homeowners insurance, I'm going to have to divide by 12. So 54.17. So what would be your next step? Add them up. Because it says it's all of these things together, your monthly. So I'm going to add the 532 plus 254.47 plus 54.17. So all of those together is 840.64. So the formula says to take your monthly housing expenses, which I just found. So this is your monthly expenses, monthly housing expenses. And then divide that by your monthly gross income, which is what we just did. 17%. Is that okay? Oh, I have 16%. Now, on your formula sheet, it says times 100, just to make sure you're realizing we're changing this to a percentage. Yeah, so that would be about 16% or 15.9%. It's 0.86. So I would round that up. And I didn't specify what to round it to, but, you know, so if you're rounding correctly one way or the other, it's fine. So will the bank lend them money? Why? It's less than 28%. So here's my percentage. Will they lend me money? Yes, it is less than 28%. So what happens when I buy a more expensive house? What happens to that percentage? It's going to go up. So in other words, are you living a little beyond your means? Would it be okay for a teacher to go out and buy $1 million house? Yeah, no, I don't make that kind of money. Okay, so using the front-end ratio, determine if the bank will lend you money. So go ahead, take a few minutes. I'll work it out up here on my own. You guys work it out, and then we'll compare answers. All right, guys, walking around, they look pretty good. Just double check your numbers. You end up with 29%, or it's like 28.97 or something like that. So that would round up to 29%. So would they go ahead and let them borrow the money? If it was just based on that? No, because it needs to be less than 28%. It would really determine, probably they would also look at like your credit score. If you have an amazing credit score, they may let that fly. But if that was the only thing they looked at, no. All right, questions on front-end ratio? All right, what about this one? Tom and Lori Anderson are considering buying a house and are researching the potential cost. Their adjusted gross income is $135,511. So now it's like we're talking about a married couple, right? So the two of them together, that's how much they make. Their monthly mortgage payment for the house they want would be $1,233. The annual property taxes would be $9,400, and the homeowner's insurance premium would cost them $876 per year. Will the bank lend them $190,000 to purchase the house? There's a lot of info and a lot of numbers, okay? And now it's set up, it's similar to how we've done the last two, but it's written actually as a story problem, which always throws people. John? Mm-hmm. Good catch. Yes. So don't get in the habit of always divide by 6 because they don't always give you semi-annual. All right, so let's kind of go ahead and let's do the stuff that we know. Can we figure out their monthly gross income? Yeah, we can figure that out. We know their adjusted gross income is the $135,511, so we divide that by what? 12, because that's their annual income. So $135,511 divided by 12. $11,292.58. So that's how much they make per month, the two of them together. All right, monthly mortgage payment is $1,233. So that's their mortgage payment. All right, we need to talk about taxes. Now, Joanne caught that right away. It says annual taxes is $9,400. So I take the $9,400 and divide by 12 this time. So $9,400 divided by 12, $783.33. That'd be your taxes. And the homeowner's insurance premium is $876 per year. So I have to divide that one by 12. So that's $73. That's insurance. And then what do I do with all three of those numbers? Add them together. That's going to be their monthly housing expenditures. Yep, so that's $2,089.33. Right, you take their monthly housing expenses divided by their monthly income. So let's take that divided by 11,292.58. Multiply that by 100, and we get about 18.5%. So would the bank give them the $190,000? Yes. Now, did I actually need the $190,000 at any point in that problem? No, I did not. Okay. The only time you may need to use the cost of the house is if they don't give you that monthly payment. Then you might have to use the cost of the house, how long the loan is, the interest rate, and actually plug it in your formula. Okay. If they give it to you, that was just extra info in this problem. Questions here? All right. Back end ratio. Max, good morning, sunshine. Can you put your head up, please? All right, a factor that banks use when deciding whether to lend money for a mortgage. Okay, so back end ratio includes monthly mortgage payment plus any car loans, alimony, child support, and credit card bills. This is where a lot of people get hit real hard. What do you think people pay a lot of that kills them on this? It's the credit cards. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you? So do you live with mom then? Okay. Yeah, so if, I mean, what, do you guys know what alimony is? What's alimony? Yes. That could go the opposite way. The wife could have to pay the husband. It is. It's whoever makes more. So let's say we were married, I was a stay-at-home mom, you worked and brought in all the income, and we got divorced. I no longer have, I don't have an income because you supported me because I was a stay-at-home mom. I took care of our kids. So if we get divorced, you have to pay me because I was used to a standard of life of a certain way before we got divorced. Yeah. Yep. Now, granted, like my husband and I, we're both teachers. We both work. If we would get divorced, like there wouldn't be any alimony to pay. Like I make more than him, but not by much. Do you know what I mean? I just work in a different school system. Yeah. And child support. Yep. Yeah. But I understand alimony for the fact of like, if I chose to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom, I chose not to work. You know what I mean? So then if we got divorced, like I'd be jobless. I have no money. Now, granted, if I worked a job and didn't make much and I don't know. Like I can see both sides of that coin. In some instances, I think it's ridiculous, to be honest with you. All right, so for back end ratio, it is your total monthly expenses. So not just the housing expenses, but all of your monthly expenses, including car loans. So Abby was buying a ridiculous car, right? Abby, do you remember how much the payments were per month on that car? $2,200 a month. The car that she picked was $2,200 a month was her car payment. Right. Right, ridiculous, right? But how would that affect her her ratio here? I mean, it's really going to raise it. But the job she's wanting to do, she's going to make like $200,000 a year, right? She wants to be a surgeon. So
my monthly income is probably like
600 a month. So your ratio, oh, not going to look so great, right? No one's going to want to give you a loan for anything. So right away, can everyone do the basic math on that? Car payment, just car payment's 300. He makes 600. What's his ratio right now? Just at those two things. Half, 50%, without even talking about anything else. Brian's living in a cardboard box. Yep. But you're not there yet. All right, banks often want the back end ratio to be 36% or less. Obviously, it's a higher percentage because it's taking not only like your mortgage and all of that, but also car loans and credit card debt and all of that stuff. Okay, so back end ratio is taking everything. Front end is just taking your housing stuff. All right, and again, that's on your paper. At the very bottom, 36% or less for banks. Includes loans, child support, etc. Bless you. Okay, so let's compute some back-end ratios. Using the back-end ratio, determine if the bank will lend you money. So there's a lot more info given to you here. All right, so I have annual gross income. What do I have to do with that number? Divide it by 12. Divide by 12. Because everything we're talking about is always by the month. So we're going to divide by 12. That would be $5,125 per month. So everything I'm doing is always being divided by your monthly gross income. So I know that's going to be what I'm dividing by down here. Monthly mortgage payment. Do I have to do anything with that number? No, that's already monthly. So this number I don't have to change. Semi-annual property tax. What do I do with that one? Divide by 6 because it's semi-annual. So 204.47. Annual homeowners insurance. Divide that one by 12. So that's $50. Car payment. Do I have to do anything with that number? Nope, that's your monthly car payment, $456. Average monthly credit card bill. I don't have to do anything. That's monthly. Oh. That one might hurt us a little bit right there. All right, so what do I do with all the numbers I circled? Add them all up. Yeah, so the back end ratio deals with a lot more numbers. Still deals with your insurance and your taxes, but other things as well. So $2,642.47. All right, so we're going to divide those, multiply by 100 to get our percentage. $51.6%. Would they lend me money back based on my back end ratio? No. Now, real quick though, if I looked at front end ratio for this person, would they give me money on front end ratio? I don't know. Let's look. This was back end, right? So let's look real quick. I know it's not part of this question. What was their front end? Front end would only include your monthly mortgage payment, your taxes, and your insurance. So 732, 204.47, and 50. So front end ratio would be 986.47 divided by the 51.25. Technically 19.2. So based on front end, would they give you the loan? Yeah. So this is why when a bank looks at things to give you a loan or not, they look at a lot of different things. Because based on just front end, you look great, only 19%. Supposed to be less than 28. You're way under that. But back end, you're at 51%, which is not good. So what do you think probably the next thing they would look at? Your credit score. Yeah, they're going to look at your credit score. Do you pay things back or not? They're going to look at how much money you actually have sitting in a savings account somewhere. They're going to look at your income and how that comes in. They look at a lot of different things. Okay, so it's not just one thing and that's it. All right, next one. All right, so same idea. Use the back end ratio. Will they lend me money? So you guys do this one, I'll do it, and then we'll compare. All right, guys. Doing all the math, you get 36.1%. Just based on back end, would they give you the loan? Is it less than 36%? Mm-mm. Now, could you make the argument that it's really close, they may go ahead and do it? Yeah, they might. But if I looked at only back end ratio, no, because it is over 36%. Right? Now I would hope that like everything else would be okay and they would look at other things and they would still give me the loan. So it just kind of depends. All right, last one. Bill and Terry Nye are considering buying a house and need to figure out what they can afford and what a bank will lend them. Their adjusted gross incomes, $166,988. Their monthly mortgage payment for the house they want would be $1,544. Their annual property tax would be $9,888, and the homeowner's insurance premium would cost them $1,007 per year. They have a $510 per month car loan, and their average monthly credit card bill is $5,100. Would the bank lend the Nyes $210,000 to purchase their house? A lot of info, right? Bill Nye, the science guy? I don't know if anybody caught that. I have no idea. I just thought it was funny. All right, so what do you think? Where do we start? How much do they make? What's their gross income? So they take how much they make per month, and we're going to have to divide that by 12. So $13,915.67. Okay, their monthly mortgage payment is $1,544. So I don't have to do anything with that number. Right, that's their mortgage. Their annual property tax would be $98.88. What do I do with that number? Divide it by 12, because that was annual. So $98.88 divided by 12, $824. The homeowner's insurance is $1,007 per year. So divide by 12 again. So $83.92. $510 for a car loan. Monthly credit card is $5,100. Doesn't say anything about alimony because they're married. Doesn't say anything about child support. What do I do with the $210,000 for the house? Nothing. It's just extra info. I don't need that. Okay, so let's add all that up. $1,544 plus $824 plus $83.92 plus $510 plus $5,100. $8,061.92. Yikes. Divided by the $13,915.67. Oh, 57.9%. That's a big fat no. Now, if you were a lender and you looked at all of these numbers and that's what you got, What would be your suggestion to them? Because they make good money. It would be to get that credit card debt under control. And sometimes that happens. People go and they like try to apply for a loan and they're like, look, your credit card debt is out of control. Get that taken care of, then come back. And then we'll talk. Okay. Now, one other thing I hope they would look at, yes, their monthly credit card bill is that high, but is the credit card bill that high because they use their credit card to pay for everything and just pay it off every month? Maybe. I had a friend who did that. He used his credit card to pay for everything and just every month paid it off. Meaning he got gas in his car, he paid for his groceries, he paid for his electric bill, he paid for everything with his credit card because he was trying to get up enough points to go to Hawaii, right? Getting his airline miles. So does back end take into consideration if you are spending, how much you're spending in gas, how much your utilities are? Is it taking any of that into consideration? No. So if that's what's making your credit card bill so high, I would make sure you let them know that. That's why it's so high. I use it to pay for everything and I just pay it off every month. That to me would make a huge difference here because back end does not take into consideration the gas you put in your car, how much you're paying for your utilities at your house, right? How much you're spending to go out to the movies on Saturday night. So that should be taken out of this equation. Yes. Yes. Some credit cards give you like cash back, like certain percentage for everything you spend, they give you money back. Some of them you can earn airline miles. I had a friend, him and his husband, him and his wife. Yeah, no, it was him and his wife. They flew to Hawaii first class for free. Mm-hmm. For how long? He was gone for 2 weeks. But I mean, it's still a flight there and a flight back. He could have been there for a year, but no matter, right? It's there and back. All right, questions on front end or back end ratio?